Where were you born?
Sierra Leone, that's in West Africa.
And certain part of Sierra Leone?
Well, Sierra Leone, Freetown to be exact, was like that's the main part of Sierra Leone.
And what age were you when you moved to the United States?
When I came here, 17 years old, just about to turn 18. And pretty much that was like 2011. I'm 25 right now.
And where did you move to when you came to the United States?
First stop was Washington, D.C. I mean, a lot of people just call it D.C. for short, but Washington, D.C.
And where else did you reside aside from Washington, D.C.?
Man, I've been all over the place in America. Well, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, California, Arizona, Texas. Man, yeah, for a short period of time, I've been everywhere in America for real.
You lived in these areas or you're just visiting?
Lived in these areas. It's like I was getting myself in a lot of stuff. So it's like, I'm like moving back and forth, and it's like, as I'm moving back and forth throughout all that, like, for example, if I'm leaving from DC and then I go to Texas, like DC would be like my base. I come back to DC for a short period, but I'm living in Texas, but I've like lived everywhere for real.
Where do you reside these days?
DC right now. It's like home for real. I still reside different places like California and stuff, but DC like home.
Now, originally, what was the initial reason to move from Sierra Leone to Washington, D.C.? Before you started moving in different parts of the United States, why Washington, D.C. for you?
Well, Sierra Leone, first of all, don't really have that much options. It's like a poverty kind of country, so it's like you don't really have that much, and you'd be lucky if you eat 3 times a day consistently throughout the week. It's like difficult. So it's like I was trying to, my family was trying to give me a chance in life, kind of, you know what I'm saying? So like put me in position or something like that. But I originally first from when I left Sierra Leone first, I originally went to London, and I grew up there when I was a kid. I went there like at 7 years old, and I kept on getting locked up and all that, going in and out of jail and everything. And I was sent back to Sierra Leone. And from Sierra Leone, I was sent back to London. This was going back and forth till I was like 17. Then I came to America. So, yeah, to answer the question, yeah, to start all over pretty much.
But why Washington, D.C.? Because you could have started in any part of the United States. Why Washington, D.C.?
Oh, nah, that's cause my father lived in Washington, D.C. for years, so I guess that's where they sent me.
You already had family?
Yeah, I already had a family there. My father and my brother, they were living in Washington, D.C., so that's where they sent me.
Your parents separated?
Yeah, since I was a kid.
You remember what age?
Nah, I really don't remember at all.
But it was pretty young?
Yeah, I don't remember at all, so it got to be real young.
And I imagine you didn't have a choice on being with your father or being with your mother, so I assume you stay with your mom.
Yeah, pretty much, because, yeah, like you said, I didn't really have much of a choice. I was just going with whoever was taking care of me at the time. And it was my mom starting stages.
Now, when you go back from Sierra Leone to London, back to Sierra Leone, when you were going back and forth, were you going with your mom? Was mom going to London with you?
Nah. At first, it might sound weird to you, but I first traveled by myself. Well, with my sister. Well, something like my sister, but I was 7 years old at the time, and she wasn't 18 either. She was like, I think 15 or something. That was the first time I ever took a flight by myself, and that was from Africa to London. I was a kid.
And what was the reasoning for London back then?
Well, I was with my mom's side of the family in Africa, so I guess she was trying to bring me to London for a chance for me to basically do good in life, and yeah, pretty much that didn't go the good way, but thank God I'm living good now for real.
Was there family from her side already in London?
Mm, yeah, some, like a big brother and all that. Yeah, she had some family people over there, but it wasn't a lot though. A lot of the family be in Africa for real.
So when you go to London, who's taking care of you? I understand the flight, you and who you refer to as your sister, and it sounds like not biological sister?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, you and your quote-unquote sister, you go to London. Who do you stay with if it's not your mom?
Right now?
No. In London. We're going through your history here, your past.
Nah, I was staying with my mom when I went there. When I went there, the first stages, I was staying with my mom.
Okay, so she moves to London with you.
Yeah, she was in London already.
Okay.
She was living in London. Then I left Africa and I moved to her
Okay.
to like get a better chance in life pretty much. But since I was going in and out of jail in London, so I was getting sent back and forth in Africa, something like basically sending you back where you came from to realize the position you in kind of. So it's like, that didn't really work. So they decided to send me to America with my dad to see if that would work.
Ah, okay. I understand now. Now, even though you're going back and forth between Africa and London, Sierra Leone, Africa, and London, you're going back and forth. Is your dad in your life throughout those times? Is he corresponding with you at the very least? Is he in contact with you at the very least?
I mean, he was, but it's like he was. I ain't gonna say he wasn't. He was, and he definitely was trying. It's just like I was just all over the place. So to be honest with you, I think it was probably so difficult for him to keep up. But he was staying in contact though. He was staying in contact.
Would he ever come to London or Sierra Leone to visit you?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have my brother and sister here too, so he couldn't like just leave them here on my father's side, that is. So he couldn't just leave them there and say, I'm about to go to him.
Now, how do you think that, again, hindsight 2020, looking at your history here, how do you think that separation affected you in life? The separation of your parents?
I mean, to be honest with you, I won't say it affected me like in a bad, I mean a good way it kind of did, because it kind of like, it made me like a man. Like, since I was young, my mindset was like, I don't really have that much people I could fall back on, because it's like a lot, like, although my mom was there looking out for me and my dad would check on me here and there, but it's like, in my mind, the way I looked at it, like, they got a lot on their hand already, so it's like, I got to man up and handle my own situation, and that's how I always looked at life, and that's how I always approached life since then, for real. But that kind of also kept me in trouble, because I was trying to, you know, do my own research that I ain't post.
Now, somebody watching this, maybe they're dealing with the separation of their parents, right? And circumstances could be different for everybody, but anything you would say to somebody watching this, dealing with the separation of their parents?
Man, the only thing I can say is y'all can't take that too deep or blame them, because it's like, y'all don't know what their situation is. I mean, at the end of the day, especially if you're a boy, like, you gotta man up. The time will come where you gotta man up anyway, so eventually, like, just keep your mind focused and just stay at it, for real.
Now, when you moved to Washington, D.C., 17 years old of age, and now you're living with your father, how did that go? The relationship between you and your father, because he's staying in contact as you know, how he does, but there's no physical visitation between you and him for 17 years. Or, you know, I don't know how young it was, but, you know, from the time they separated to about 17, quite a long time. So how is that relationship when you actually go to Washington, D.C.?
See, the relationship kind of like, how could I explain it? Because my father, like, real religious, Muslim, by the way. So my father, like, real religious, and it's like, when I came here, like, how could I explain? Like, I guess our relationship got tighter, like, through the religion, because it's like, I grew up as a Muslim, but, like, I never took it serious or anything like that. But when I came around him, it's like, he kind of, like, taught me a lot of stuff as far as the religion-wise. So it's like, that kind of like interests me anyway. So I'm interested in religion stuff. So it's like that kind of like made the relationship easier to like bond off of. So it's like, and besides, I ain't never had none in my heart like I'm mad at him or anything like that anyway. So it's like I already had a vibe, cool vibe.
I see.
Yeah.
When you do go to Washington, D.C., does he treat you like a parent-son relationship? Does he treat you like a friend-to-friend relationship?
And, I don't even know how to explain this one, but it's like we don't really talk that much, but when we do talk, it's like a brief, important kind of conversation. So it's like I want to say business because it's not just always business, but it's like majority of the time is like business because it's like he do advise me a lot, and he do advise me about stuff that's already in my mind as far as like watch people that are close to you, they ain't always happy for you and this and that, and like that's always on my mind. So it's like other than business, those the only short conversation that we'll be having, and it's like he knows I got love for him, and I know he got love for me, so we don't really go that much on the conversation.
Good relationship with him at this point?
Yeah, it's always been good for real.
And good relationship with your mother today at this point?
Yeah, always been good.
Now, was there ever another male figure in your life while you were growing up until 17 and you moved to Washington, D.C.?
Stepdad, but
You did have a step-parent?
my mom, my stepdad, but yeah, that I'm gonna just leave it where it's at.
Okay.
It just ain't go too well.
I see. I see. Now, what age were you when the step-parent came to your life?
First time I came to London.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was about when you were 7 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Now, I do interviews, and when there's a step-parent situation, sometimes it's a good relationship, sometimes it's a toxic relationship. With you, it sounds like it's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, something like that.
Why do you think that is? Why was your relationship with your step-parent not so good when I interview some people and they have a good relationship with their step-parent?
See, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it's kind of difficult. It just wasn't that good. It just wasn't that good. But I ain't holding them accountable. I don't got no grudge towards them or nothing.
Okay.
Like, it's hard for me to hold a grudge towards anybody. Like, there's a lot of people that done did me dirty in life and all that. I don't got no grudge towards because, I mean, that ain't gonna get me nowhere. Holding anything in my heart towards them, it ain't gonna get me nowhere. I got too much problems to worry about. Too much bills to keep up with. Least of my worries.
At this point, you have no grudge with your step-parent, but would you say no terms with the step-parent or
What you mean
bad
by
terms?
no terms?
Like, no terms meaning like, you're not on good terms, but you're not on bad terms, so you're in the middle. It's like no terms.
We got no terms at all. Yeah, at all. It's been years.
Now, okay, growing up for you, financially, you grew up in poverty?
Hell yeah. I'm talking about playing football. I mean soccer, because that's what they call it here in America. I'm talking about playing soccer barefoot. So yeah, pretty much. And then I'm talking about like eating sometimes once a day. So it's like when I came in America, I already had hunger. I mean, I ain't needed much more motivation anyways. I ain't needed nobody to show me nothing else.
Was that as bad as it got when it came to poverty? Those examples that you displayed right there with the soccer and the one meal a day?
Yeah, pretty much. And sleeping without no bed or sheets sometimes, no cover, sleeping on the floor.
Now, you grew up in poverty. That was in London and Sierra Leone together?
No, poverty, that's in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was London for you financially?
See, financially it wasn't that bad because I had somewhere to stay. My mom always made sure we had somewhere to stay. Although it was difficult for her, she always made sure everything was good for us. The only thing with London was I gave her a lot of headache. Not no more though, I gave her a lot of headache. I'm talking about jail calls, school calls, back to back to back. Like a lot of headache. Had to get me out of jail. All of this.
Mm.
I started getting locked up when I was. I think the first time I got locked up, I think I was like 13 or 12, something like that. That was the first time I got locked up.
Juvenile stuff, though, not
Yeah.
adult stuff.
Yeah.
When it came to getting locked up, what was the root cause of this? Why were you getting locked up?
I mean, I ain't gonna say it's because of bad friends, because I don't believe in that term. Because it's like I've been in a situation where like I deny stuff for them that they want me to do with them, and it's like basically I got control of myself. So like I know how to discipline myself. I know how to control myself. If anything, I was like really like a bad influence, to be honest with you. But yeah, I was like a bad influence, or growing up, that is.
When it came to these type of juvenile offenses that you did, was it anything where charges actually stuck and you had to do some sort of punishment for it, or were they charges you were able to beat?
No, I mean, I ain't gonna say I beat all of them, but majority, like I've been lucky doing all my cases. Even here in America, I've been lucky. All I gotta do is thank God. Well, I've been lucky. Yeah. So.
You've gone to jail as an adult.
Oh yeah, here in America. So I came here in America, 2011. I've been locked up I think 4 times.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been locked up. I gotta go to court on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday.
So you have an open case currently.
Yeah, I ain't trying to talk about that one though. I gotta go to court.
I see. When it came to you getting in trouble as a juvenile, was this street activity stuff? Were you getting into the street, so to speak? Or?
All of them is street. The only thing is like, the only real question is like what type of street? Because in the streets, like a lot of people have different roles. So it's like a lot of people get in trouble more on chasing money, or just some just hot-headed doing dumb stuff. Majority is money, because all my life, like, I've always been trying to get some money. So majority is money, but like the other remaining ones just dumb stuff I'll say. That one that wasn't even called for. That's what I'm gonna say. It wasn't called for.
I see.
Yeah.
And do you think financially growing up the way you did in poverty in Sierra Leone, and a little bit better in London, but not as bad as Sierra, do you think this is what caused you, or what you would say, if not the cause, the reasoning of you getting into street activity and things of that nature?
What do you mean as far as like, you mean like from the poverty of Sierra Leone?
Yeah, do you think it was the way you grew up financially that was the reason why you get into street activity?
Nah, to be honest with you, it's like...
Because not every kid does that. Not every kid goes that route.
I know, because I ain't the type to sit here and lie and say because I was in poverty in America or in London, because that's not what it was. I was in poverty in Sierra Leone, but in America and London, it's not because of that. It's like, how could I say? It's like you get like a rush in you. It's like a thrill. So it's like once I did the one bad thing, because I went to school, when I was in London, I went to school in Peckham Academy. The real name of it is Academy at Peckham. I went to school, Peckham Academy. That was like the #1 worst school in London at the time. Literally, I'm talking about people getting stabbed there at least once a week. So it's like, and it's like the type of group that I was with and all that. Like once we do certain things, like the thrill that's in me makes me want to keep doing it. So it's not like I'm saying, it's not like it's the poverty from Sierra Leone or what I'm going through in London or whatever it is. It's just the thrill in it just made me want to keep doing it. So it's like even when I came in America, I think that's the reasons why I got myself in trouble, because it's like sometimes I feel like sometimes it's a drug when you do something that you like doing, and sometimes it's difficult for me to pull myself out of it. Like I had to fight myself out of certain situation. Like once I was stable enough here in America, and I was basically financially stable a bit, I would say, like I kind of like moved myself away from the people that I was chilling with. Like we stay in contact, we talk and everything. So it's like I just don't want to have to do something. And then I know me once it's just a rush. It's kind of like a rush that's difficult to stop.
I think people watching this understand what you're saying and understand what you mean. Like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. The reason why I asked if it had anything to do with financially is because you had mentioned, you know, there's different types of reasons why people get into street activity. You mentioned money, which you said was, I think you said was most, and then sometimes you were doing hot, dumb stuff.
Yeah.
But when you said money, that's what made me think, well, maybe it was the financial upbringing and the poverty and maybe lower class of living that got you into that type of.
Nah. The thing is, honestly, like I wouldn't say it's poverty, but what my mom and dad was giving me or providing for me at the time, I wanted more. And I can't hold them accountable to be like, yo, I want this shoes, I want this, I want that. I just wanted more myself. I've always been like that. Like if I know somebody already doing something for me, I don't want to ask them for anymore. I just let them do it for me when they can or when they want to or whatever it is. I go on my own way to make something happen for myself because I want that myself. I'm not gonna hold them accountable. So it's like I'm gonna go out there and go try to find a way for me to get it. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna go get it.
Now, you growing up in poverty at one point of your life, and then things getting a little bit better in London. And when you came to America, did things financially for you get better than it was in London, or was it the same level as London, or?
Nah, I mean, when I came to America, it financially wasn't like London.
It was poverty again too?
I wouldn't say poverty, but it was a difference. I wouldn't say poverty, but it was a difference. And I'm kind of happy with that, honestly, because it made me, I'm not gonna say it made me worse, but it did kind of like make me worse to want more. And over here when I first came over here, like, well, London is not this way no more, but it was always like nice, 24/7. It was always like nice. But over here, it's like they really like I just see that they were really playing with guns. It's like a different ball game. So I'm like, oh, I gotta get worse than what I was. Like it's not gonna work thinking it's gonna be nice. Like I mean, I ain't gonna last that long. So
now, somebody watching this, America's weapon of choice is guns, as you mentioned. And when you do hear of violent stories coming from London, England, things of that nature, you do hear of knife stories, stabbings. You don't hear gun stuff. Why is that? Why don't you hear gun stuff over there in Europe versus in America?
Well, see, I can't speak on that, but I think it's probably just more difficult for them to get it there. I think. I don't know. I think it's just more difficult.
When it comes to you growing up in poverty, though, those times you did, what do you think that taught you? What did you learn from that? What did that teach you?
Man, like, the main quote I'm gonna say is like, take your chances when it comes. And it's like, because not a lot of people get chances. So when your chance comes, it's like, see, the thing is like, I feel like everybody in life, I feel like this is my way of thinking. Like, don't quote me on it, but this is my way of thinking. I feel like God gives everybody like a chance for you to like really do big things or whatever you really want to do in life or whatever it is. I feel like he gives everybody a chance. So like you gotta grab that chance. And like when you grab that chance, make the best of it, because it's like I seen a lot of people that are even my niggas, like, excuse my language, I don't know if we could say that here, but I seen a lot of people that are close to me been in position and like really make it go downhill. Like I'm seeing where the mess up is, and I'm in my mind like, if I was in that position, I wouldn't do the same thing. So it's like that's why I look at it like when I be like make the best of it because I seen a lot. Like I'm talking about I seen people that got M's to their names went downhill. So it's like I don't seen a lot, man.
And also too on the guns and knives thing, I was trying to think of some questions about that, the comparison and contrast there. Do you feel it's more because, okay, in the different parts of America you lived in, because people have a right to carry guns, that's a weapon of choice in America. And in London and England, you hear of the knife stories, not so much gun stuff. You feel more danger?
In America?
Yes, because of the guns aspect versus the knife aspect, or do you feel like it's more dangerous in London because of the knife aspect versus the gun aspect in America? How do you compare, how do you, living in both conditions, seeing these type of dangers that could possibly happen, what do you feel like is more dangerous?
Hey, I mean, the thing is how you grew up. Or who's around you or whatever it is. That's how I feel like the danger works because I know some people that's like I lived kind of like, it might sound crazy, but I still got choices sometimes. I look at it that way, but I know two type of groups. I know some people that's like don't affiliate or mix at all with anything that got to do with that type of stuff. And I know some people that don't, like they decide in their mind they don't want to live like this. Like they really like doing this guns and all this street stuff. Really like doing this. So it's like I feel like it's how you live because it's like I know people in London that like don't even go that way, and I know some people here that really go that way. So it's like it's how you live for real. It's the choice you pick. But some people don't have no choice. They're born in that. So it's like if I had man, I can't pick on that one, man.
Let me try to reword this question a little bit. Are you more fearful of a gun than a knife? Does a gun worry you more than a knife?
Hell yeah. You don't need to be close to me to do something to me. A knife, you need to be close to me. So it's like once you close to me, like I see you right there, kind of. You know what I'm saying? But with a gun, it's like you don't need to be close to me, like. I don't seen people do what they gotta do distance away from them with a gun. So it's like, yeah, if I had to pick the two weapons, yeah, a gun make me high alert more than a knife, for sure.
Do you think with a knife, it's more emotion involved versus the weapon of a gun?
I feel like with a knife, like you really gotta hate the person. Like you really gotta have like something in your heart that like, yo, I really don't like this person. Like you really gotta like, man, yeah, you really gotta like really be like 100%. Because people would throw their life away with a gun quicker than a knife. Because the reason why I say that is like you could be a sucker and really squeeze a gun, but with a knife, like you gotta have that heart in you to come close to this person and do damage to them. So it's like, yeah, pretty much.
Now, I don't know the statistics offhand doing this interview about guns versus knives, but from maybe your experience, your personal knowledge, things of that nature, is it a better chance of surviving a stabbing versus surviving a shooting?
Man.
Like if you hear 10 people, or if you hear 10 instances of people getting stabbed and 10 instances of people getting shot, is the outcome of surviving better with the knife stabbing situation versus the gun?
Is who's behind the weapon. It's like saying when you racing and you both got the same car, it's who's behind the car, who's driving the car. So who's behind the weapon? So it's like I've seen people have a gun that have crazy rounds in it and still don't get none. And I've seen people that got that knife and do some damage with it. So it's like who's behind the weapon? So yeah, it's who's behind the weapon for real.